is Anthony Ramos. This is Fred Taylor. I'm Ryan Clark, Shannon Crowder. This is the Pivot. Pivot fam, thank you for pivoting with us. And this is a real pivot for us. And I think the reason you're cool for this show is the many things that you dive into, the way that you can, whether it's acting, whether it's on Broadway, on screen, music, you can do it all, dance. But I want to talk about, one, why would you answer the phone in the shower?
I do it often. Which time? When
time you found out you got into AD.
When I got into college, that's right. You know what? I talk on the, I probably shouldn't, but I talk on the phone in the shower often. Like, I don't know, I always pick a spot where I just keep the phone and I'm lathering and shit, and I open the curtain, I'm like, yo, yeah, nah, that was crazy. You know, and washing the hair, I'm like, yeah, nah, I remember when she said that, she was wilding, you know, like, I don't know why, but I mean, but that call changed my life, though. That was crazy.
Talk about that. Tell us about what it's like, you know, when you're told you should go to school there and you have that level of talent from the things you were able to do in high school, but you actually get the phone call.
I remember I got a call from, I don't know where he is now, but he was so cool. This guy named Marcus Carter. He worked at the American Musical and Dramatic Academy here in New York. And he was like one of the heads of admissions, and he called me and told me I had gotten into this musical theater school. I didn't grow up watching musicals. I didn't, Broadway's expensive. So I didn't necessarily go to Broadway shows. I didn't listen to soundtracks, none of that. But I always liked performing. We used to do like these improv shows at Thanksgiving or like at Christmas for the family, you know what I'm saying? We do like the first Thanksgiving, or we do like some wild shit. You know, we would just make something up in the room, and we were all between the ages of like 8 and 12, and we're doing like bullet points of like, all right, this is what we're gonna do first, this is what we're gonna do second, and this is where we're trying to end. And then we come out there and make whatever costumes we could from the closet or whatever that our aunt had, and come out and do a 12-minute to 15-minute like skit for the family. That's kind of like how it kind of started. And then auditioning for this school. I had a teacher in high school named Sarah. She helped me with the audition material. She paid for the application. She, everything worked with me. Like, I get into the school, Marcus calls me, that shower call. And next thing you know, I'm hyped that I get into the school, but then I get the packet for how much the school's gonna cost. And it was like $33,000 or something like that a year. And it was just wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, we grew up in the projects. Like, my mom raised 3 of us by herself. My mother made $31,000 a year. So it was like to take care of all 3 of us. And so it was like, seeing that number was crazy. And I was just like, I don't know, just like my whole spirit just like deflated when I saw that packet. But you know, my mother kept saying, she's like, don't worry, Papa, God's gonna make a way, don't worry, don't worry. I'm like, yo, better make a way soon.
He ain't made that way forever.
I was like, yo, But you know, thankfully, you know, she had a lot of faith, and Sarah too. This teacher and me, and Miss H. I had a couple teachers. Jason Jacobs was my first counselor, where I had my first therapy session ever. It used to be me and 3 other young men. We used to sit with him and just talk about our problems, talk about what's going on at home. And that was the first time we had ever done anything like that. Like, that was the first time I had ever experienced anything like that. It was just all these teachers, my Coach DeMarco, my baseball coach, but these people who just really like advocated for me. But you know, long story short, it was basically like, I get that call, can't afford it. Sarah gives my name to the Jerry Seinfeld Scholarship Foundation. He had a scholarship at the time. I go and meet a woman by the name of Kate Fenneman, who actually, she texted me this morning, Kate. She's like, yo, Aunt, it's crazy seeing you. I was talking to Sonia Sotomayor, the Supreme Justice. I was co-hosting the Today Show with Jenna Jenna Bush, and she's like sitting next to, you know, Sonia Sotomayor, and like her being like, I know you like da 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 da. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, it's legendary. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And having that just having that opportunity, I had a point. I don't even know why. Oh, Sarah, yeah, I'm like drifting.
Yeah.
I was just still high from that experience. But basically, she gives because Kate texts me, right? So basically, Kate was the head of the scholarship foundation at the time. I meet with her. She's like, Sarah writes her a long letter about me, like, yo, you got to meet this kid. And I was like, yo, well, has she seen my grades? I don't want her to like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to meet her and then she see my report card. She's like, yo, nah, like, what we gonna do with this? Because for sure, like, my shit was horrible. Like, not horrible, but it was like a solid, like, C. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But it was nothing.
Right.
Nothing special, but she decided to sit with me because she was like, yo, like, I don't know, like, you wrote this long letter about this kid, at least I'll sit with him. And, I just sat across from her and I said, look, man, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I've been through a lot of shit. Like, my father was on drugs, we had a lot of violence and things, like, in our home, outside our home, like, in the community. Like, I grew up, like broke and shit, like, but I was just like, I just need a shot. I just need a chance. Like, I need someone to take a chance on me. She's like getting pretty emotional. I'm emotional. I mean, I shared a lot. I was just like, I'm gonna just tell you the truth about what I went through as a kid. And I'm not saying that what I went through was an excuse, but I'm just saying that, like, this is all I've been dealing with as a kid. And finally, thanks to, again, like, teachers like Sarah and Jason, I started to process it for the first time as a teenager. And I'm like, damn, like, I got mad trauma and I got, like, real problems that I didn't even know were not normal.
Yeah.
And, like...
But, bro, that doesn't build a Broadway performer. That doesn't build actors. A lot of times you hear about those hard times, and it may be athletes or people that do other things. It doesn't say that kid becomes someone who expresses themselves through art. So how did that sort of upbringing, those sort of traumas, process themselves out to get you to this point then?
I think when you think about growing up in the hood, you gotta be an actor every day, right? It's like, you gotta maneuver. You gotta know the right thing to say to get out of trouble over here. If I don't got money to eat that day, I gotta know what to say to the lunch lady to help to, or I gotta know, like, for example, I'll give you an example. I was in high school and the cutoff for free lunch for students, your parent had to make $29,000 or less. My mom made 31.
Right.
My mother, I also wasn't living with her at the time. I was living with my aunt because she lived closer to the school. So it was more convenient. It also, she lived in a better area, so it gave me an opportunity to kind of like be in a better neighborhood, for 3 years before I had to go back to my mom's house in my senior year. But by the time I got to senior year, still, right, 29,000 cut off, 31,000 she's making, so I gotta pay a quarter for lunch. I couldn't afford the quarter sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I could not afford a quarter. So I gotta talk to the lunch lady like, yo, Ma, what are we doing? Like, that patty right there, that's not even worth a quarter. Let me on this line and let me eat.
Right.
And she like, nah, I can't. So now I gotta find another lunch lady. Yo, miss, Fulana over here don't wanna let me on the fucking line. Can you let me on the line?
Right.
Maybe. Now she looking around like she's smuggling some shit. I'm like, yo, you not committing a crime here. Just let me on the fucking, not even know the difference. Who's getting the quarter? Nobody knows where these quarters are going.
You get the patty.
Let me on the line. Yo, so fine, or sometimes I have to ask a friend, like, yo, can you just go get me a tray or whatever. Or I make friends. Thank God I made friends with the shorty that worked in the school store. Mm-hmm. So whenever one of the lunch ladies was being stingy, I go in the school store, I'll be like, Ma, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, let me work a little 15 minutes for you. I go, I used to like schmooze with her and shit. Mm-hmm. And she give me Doritos and cookies and, whatever to hold me off to get through school. And thank God my ex-girlfriend's, God bless her, Cindy, I love you. My ex-girlfriend, Danielle's mom, used to have a change bowl she collected every week. So she throw her change every day, and the supermarket Wallbounds was right next door. So I used to she used to give me the change every week at the end of the week. I go to Wallbounds, and I'm like, yo, so I'm exchanging the change, and you can change it for cash. So I would have like $20 for the week sometimes. So I have to stretch it. It's just shit like that, but you gotta always be acting all the time. Like, damn, these 5 dudes chasing me, but like they following me home right now. Fuck. I don't wanna get jumped. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but bruh, like it's something we do with we've asked a bunch of people, like, is it nature or nurture? It's like, was your talent created because you singing on Trolls and shit and Hamilton? You know what I'm saying? You doing these movies, you acting like you had to do it to survive, but was that God-given talent or was that created once you were already here?
It was, I always could sing, but I wasn't like seasoned or anything like that. I didn't have voice lessons. I didn't grow up doing dance classes or nothing like that. Like, I started dancing on the boardwalk in Coney Island in Brooklyn, like with the OGs, with the baby powder on the boardwalk and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I started. Yeah. I would just learn from them. I would see them moving. I see them like flowing. And I'm like, damn, like I just learned from them. And I was like, shit, this ain't ballet or jazz or tap, but this is movement. This is fluid. This is fluidity. I'm watching these people just live. I'm like, damn, if I could just learn that, then maybe I can learn something else. And then maybe I can learn something else. And singing, singing was a thing that I could do, but I wasn't great at it. I had to work at it, but I had my first voice lesson in college with my teacher, Christy Kelly, who is amazing. She really taught me how to sing. That was the first time I thought I could only sing up to this certain note. She's like, nah, you actually have this. Like, no, this is what a vocal scale is. This is what is, this is what a vocal warm-up is. And I had never experienced that. And I was like, oh, damn. Like she started to really open my eyes to, needless to say is I got that scholarship from Jerry Seinfeld because of Sarah writing a letter. Kate gave me a chance. And I get into AMDA, the school here in New York, musical theater school and film, and I go for 2 years, and that was when I took my first dance class, and that was when I got my first acting class and my first musical theater class. So now I'm learning about all these composers and playwrights, and I'm learning about musicians, and I'm singing Cole Porter and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I played baseball, bro. I was an athlete. Like, I didn't do none of this shit.
Right. But speaking of that, sports, right? You follow a team now?
I'm a Jets fan, man.
It's all good, bro.
They look okay.
I was just there at the game. I was just like, damn, guys.
That's cool. So Shannon and I both went to the University of Florida, and Ryan went to LSU. Yeah. Our teams met each other. So RC proposed a friendly bet, right? And you would think it would be 2-on-1. But it was 2-on-1. And he's a Gator, I'm a Gator, so he switched out on our team.
Right.
But this is perfect because there's a lesson in loyalty, right?
Yeah.
Because
Bro, I seen somebody with the ass whoop. The Gators about to get the ass whoop. I knew it.
100%.
So now Anthony got to school you on loyalty because he had an opportunity to continue growing the industry, but he decided to turn down a part in a project by Miss Beautiful J-Lo, because his homie, Mark Anthony.
Oh,
Why'd you decide to make that decision when you had an opportunity to grow in this industry?
The thing about it is I think sometimes you gotta be like, look, whether or not my perception of the piece was correct or not is neither here nor there. Me and Jennifer never talked about it. I don't think we have to either, you know what I'm saying? But it was just more like, I read it. I felt like it resembled a person who was my friend. Mm-hmm. I never asked her about that relationship. I never asked him about their relationship. But I was like, what I'm not gonna do is get in the middle of something that I was never a part. Like I'm not gonna be in the middle of it anyway, right? But I didn't even want to take a chance of potentially I don't know if what I'm feeling is true, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I'd rather not play this role that seems like this might resemble a relationship that maybe could have been theirs, but it's not. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? And I think, ultimately, I think I think she understood that. And honestly, like, yeah, but I don't know what that would have done for my career, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying?
Doing
Like, my
pretty good.
career's all right. Thank God. I'm sitting here with y'all.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, but me and Jennifer are cool.
Right.
Me and Mark are cool. Like, there's no beef. But, you know, I always gotta do what I feel is right in my heart. And if the tables were turned in reverse, I would have done the same for her.
So this is, and I don't know if you've been asked this question. I think it's a perfect question for our show. Hamilton, A Star Is Born, The Heights, right? You've played these parts, these very artistic parts, and there usually seems to be like there's a certain level of talent that goes in that. And the question actually doesn't have anything to do with that, in the sense of you have very hood values. I mean that as a total compliment. Right? In the sense of this. Right? In the sense of this, that's y'all business.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a part of it. That's not the way Hollywood seems to work. Is it difficult for you to navigate Hollywood with the way that our principles are built based on the ways we grow up?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it has been difficult. Sometimes I walk in the rooms and I'm like, nah, I don't wanna be here. I don't fuck with nobody in here. And maybe that's not the most Hollywood thing. But I'm not gonna schmooze with you for 15 minutes if I don't got nothing in common with you. What the fuck I'm gonna sit here and talk to you for? About what? So where you from? New York? But you're living in LA now? How's that transition? I don't wanna do this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know.
Yeah.
Standing there with the executive, they're like, yo, that's the executive or whatever the fuck studio or whatever. You should just go say hi to him. Or that's the executive of the whatever brand or whatever that we're trying to get the deal with. You should go shake his hand and go kiss his ass. And I'm like, I don't care, bro. I don't care, because you know what? Like, I want you to fuck with me. I want you to work with me because you like what I do. I don't want you to have to find out from the employee of the employee who was talking to the other employee that they like, no, you should talk to that guy because he's the whatever, the next thing or whatever. Nah, if you don't know who I am, bro, it's cool. We don't have to. I'll go over here and make the smaller deal with somebody who really gives a fuck about what I'm doing, and I'll build with them, and we'll create something fire, as opposed to me trying to go out because you producing the next fucking Jurassic Park? I don't care. Why? Because you won 3 Oscars and how many Critics' Choice and SAG Award? I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, yo. Because at the end of the day, like, the further I get into this shit, the less I want to just work. Like, I don't feel like doing shit that I don't want to do. And like people like, but what about, like, don't you want to get ahead, or don't you want to be? And I'm like, you know what? I am ahead. My bills are paid. I own property, I got businesses, by the grace of God. Like, my mother's okay, my brother and my sister, I'm chilling. I don't know if that makes, you know what I'm saying?
It's not like people chase money. People chase money.
Yeah.
And as you talking, like, you probably could have made more money.
For sure.
Or even had more fame if the code switch, is that the thing the kids call it nowadays? You know, we way older than you, because you know.
I mean, look.
Code switching, but code switch, figured out, whatever, but just stack bread. Why aren't you just stacking bread?
No, I'm stacking bread.
I know you stacking bread, but you can stack more bread.
But I could, yeah. I mean, you know, yeah, I definitely had movies where I turned down and the money was nice, but the role just wasn't, like, yeah, it hurt. Like, I'm like, fuck. Like, you know, like, that was a hard one to say no to, but because of the bread. But, like, I'm reading the role and I'm like, damn, but, like, where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? What do I want people to know Anthony Ramos as? One of the most elite actors that ever did it. I don't want them to know me as one of the most famous actors that ever did it. I want them to say he's one of the best that ever did it. So in order to get there, I gotta make the right plays. I gotta look at the whole thing and be like, all right, that's 3 months of my life. They don't wanna work around my schedule. I got this performance over here for this new single that I got out, whatever. My music is just starting to do this. Like, I gotta look at the whole trajectory. Like, I'm like, okay, I gotta do that, but I got that performance there. I won't be able to do that if I do this film. Yeah, the money's right, but you know what, that opportunity, I don't know what's gonna come of that, but that right there, is more in line with where I want to be or where I want to go, or that smaller part is more important to me that they paying me nothing for than this bigger role, or rather this bigger movie, you know, and I maybe have to do that here because that's gonna push me further, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you know, and at least in the plan in my head, you know, like, and it's tough, yes. I mean, it is hard to, you know, I remember, I mean, I got offered a deal from a brand.
I was just gonna ask you, what's the most you ever turned down? If you say something crazy, I'm diving on you. If you say something crazy, and I'm diving on you.
No, it's not. The most I ever turned down was like $2 million. So that's not.
It's not what?
That's big. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. But look, but no. But let me tell you something. No. But this is. But no.
I didn't expect. I wanted to. I would come.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But what I'm saying is, that deal. I turned it down, but that deal came back around. Because the stipulation I have. So when you talk about you know what? I'm tripping. It was more than $2 million. But it was only
You brought your brother here because you knew.
No, but look, I'm not even trying to flex. It's really, it was really more like, it was more because that deal, there was one bullet point that was really important to me that they did not want to meet me on. And I was just like, all I said was, I want to be able to put my own song in the campaign. And they said no. So I said, I don't want to do it. My team was like, what? I don't want to do it. This one thing is really important to me. And if they won't do that, I'm willing to do whatever they want. But that one right there is really important to me. And then they conceded on the deal, and we were able to, we worked it out. And it was, complete blessing, right? Just because you turn something down doesn't mean it goes away.
Right.
But sometimes they do, right? More times than not, they do. But like, you know, I've turned down like certain roles that thankfully came back around. Like, and they met me, but like I had to say no to the job, and it was so hard to be like, I can't do this. But like, I gotta stand on what matters to me. Like, I wanna do this job. I want to make this money. But like, yo, like, if this thing over here means more to me, like for example, there was another job that at the time, right, I was gonna get married. Massive movie. I said no to the film, and they were offering me about the same, maybe more, actually more than that. And I was like, am I smoking crack? And anyone else in my life would have been like, yes.
Also, too, that's like a very like project drug you just went to.
What?
To say smoking crack.
Yeah, right, yeah, super.
Hey, that show you where you
super
from.
project drug. But I basically was like, yo, like, I can't because I'm getting married. And finally, they came back to me and said, first of all, I turned it down. My team's like, yo, what the fuck? And I'm like, yo, I can't move this wedding. I can't do it. Finally, they said, we will work the production schedule around your wedding. And I'm talking about it's a multi-million-dollar movie. And thank God, like, I mean, and you know, the wedding didn't happen, but still, it was the principle of like, look, I told her we was gonna do this.
Yeah. Principles.
And I don't wanna let her down. Yeah. I don't wanna let us down and take a job and disregard the fact that we've been planning this for however long we've been together. Yeah. You know, for 6 years or, you know, like we've worked towards this moment, right? Am I crazy? I don't know, maybe, but thankfully God worked it out still for me. Like it was meant for me. Yeah. And that's another thing too. I'm starting to realize too, like, yo, when you really stand on what you believe in and you really like, sometimes, yeah, what you're gonna do is the thing that people think is crazy. They're like, your friends, your family, and I don't talk about this shit with people because like they'll be like, you're a psychopath. Yeah. But, you know, my brother knows all this shit because we talk about it all the time, but when you stand on what matters to you and you really, really, really like lock in on that, everything that's meant for you is gonna fall into place around it. I think.
So what about being like more ethnically ambiguous then? When people tell you, if you know, maybe if you weren't so Puerto Rican, or maybe if you spoke a certain way all the time, or had a certain look, you could do more things.
I mean, I used to get really insecure about that, you know? Cause like, you know, I don't know, I walk into rooms and I don't know what they were expecting, but like the casting directors or the people, you know, the people putting these movies together, people putting these shows together, especially in musical theater, like, again, it's not like where I grew up, like nobody gives a fuck about musicals. Nobody's watching musicals. No one cares about musicals. They're like, I don't do that. Like, that's whack. But that was only because like we weren't educated, a lot of us, to that, right? Like it was all about sports, right? But you think about sports, right? It's cheap to, you get a football, you could play.
Yeah.
Get a glove and a baseball, you could play catch. Get a rinky-dink, get a, you know, a shitty bat somewhere, and now you could play a game. Get a basketball, we got courts everywhere, what we doing? Those were the sports, those were the things that we grew up with. And you know, we Latinos, so we fucking love baseball. You know, we playing baseball. Now, my brother was all state, my cousin was like all city. I wasn't none of that shit, but you know what I'm saying? I was good enough to, you know.
What, Coke bottles and the broomstick?
Coke bottles. We playing Skelly. I don't know if y'all know Skelly, where you put the candle wax in the top. This is, you know, this is some hood shit. You know? You're like, and you like, you draw out a square in the middle of the floor, and you put like numbers. There's 9, 8, 7, whatever. You gotta hit the Skelly in the 7. You go to the 8. Then you hit the other person out. Like, this is the shit we did to keep ourselves busy.
But even we all have similar upbringing, right? And we come from these, you know, variety of demographics. And you said, you know, from where you come from, nobody with Broadway. Nobody wasn't going to plays and this and that. But once you made it, and your people had an opportunity to come check you, like, what was that experience like for you and for them to see you, you know, dressed up and going over your parts and going all that stuff? How was that experience?
Honestly, being on Broadway and you know, having that experience, my friends coming for the first time, it was a lot of their first Broadway shows, or like second Broadway show. And the first one was like when they, like, Uncle took them when they was like 12 or something, you know? So like, they coming and seeing me on Broadway. Like some of my boys from like childhood, like my boy Chris, who I've known since I was 12, Wildhood, like OD. But like, you know, like seeing him pull up and being hyped, he's like, yo, blood, that shit was fire. Like, yo, just like that. He's like, yo, like, that's crazy. I don't even like Broadway, but, you know, and like, just seeing people in my life get excited about a thing that I've been excited about for a long time, since I started it. But that was in high school, and seeing them see it in that way on the biggest stage was so special, man. Like, my father, rest in peace, when, you know, him coming to see the show, and, you know, my dad passed away 2 years ago, and like, seeing my father, like, his reaction after the show, and like seeing him after the Transformers premiere. I still have a video. That was the last thing my dad came to, and you know, I put a thing in the movie. Like, I try to put one thing for my friends in everything that I do, like just one thing that they'll only know. Wow. So every time in every premiere, they laugh. You know, like they laugh when that thing comes up. Like, I'll say some shit like, yo, we in the mix. Like, we in the mix is a thing we say. So I said it at Transformers, like, I'm looking around like, we in the mix. And then out the whole row, they like, oh, shit. Like, they all go crazy. Right. Like, they all go nuts. But my dad, we put this little nugget in there. We used to do, me and my brother, we still do it, but my father used to be like, yo, put it there. And I'd be like, he'd be like, home team. And I do this with my little brother in the movie. I go with Dean. Dean Vasquez was an incredible actor, and we like home team. And that was a thing that we still do. Like, we text each other, and I'm like, yo, Al, thanks for helping me with that. Or blah, blah, blah. He'd be like, yo, Ant, thanks. I'd be like, home team.
Wow.
You know, and it's just like little, you know, like little things in every movie that your friends will know.
But as you progress, as you get success, and not having that relationship with your dad, I went through something similar. Mom and dad got divorced. You know, mom says dad ain't shit. Dad says mom ain't shit. So now I was in that mid-ground of a little dumb kid sitting around like, damn, I'm about a bunch of not shit ass niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you like be like, damn. But then making ain't nobody shit.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody shit around me.
Right.
But then now with your dad and even speaking about him now and having a dad on drugs and then getting that relationship built back. You seem very family oriented, but having that separation, but then growing up as a man, and that's what I had to do. When I became a man, I'm gonna make my own decisions on people.
Yeah.
And then I done got back with my daddy when I got to the league, and I was like, man, this dude cool. Like, I'm a fool with him. What was the, I guess, the maturation of y'all's relationship? And how could you help anybody out there that going through that? Because when I read your story, I'm like, oh, I'm pointing like the little Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Like,
It was a process to, to get good with Pops. I mean, that took a while, man. Like, it was tough because it was like him and Mom weren't together. And, I think that I was used to that, but it was just more of like every time we kind of let him back in, he would do something again to let us down. And then we let him back in again, and he'd do something. So it was just over and over and over and over and over. But then I realized, as I grew up, I said, you know what? I think there's a way to deal with him in a way where I can still love him. But I think it just starts with forgiveness, though. At the end of the day, number one, it starts with forgiveness. You gotta forgive a person. You gotta forgive yourself, and you gotta forgive them. Period. I don't blame him for anything he did. I know I'm not gonna make excuses for him, but he had a hard life. And he dealt with his life as best as he could. Was it in the best ways? It wasn't, but he tried his hardest. Mm. Sometimes someone's best is not, in the world's view, good, but it was his best. And I had to just accept that. Yo, he is trying his best. So what are the boundaries I can put up in my life where I can still be able to love him, but not put myself in harm's way? If I know he starts shooting at 6 o'clock, maybe I shouldn't be near the house, start shooting, theoretically, not.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. You feel me? If I know, once he gets a drink in the system, once this, how can all right, if I know that I can only talk to him on the phone for 30 minutes, maybe 40 if the conversation's good. But I gotta cut it off. Even if it's going great, I gotta cut it off just in case it goes left, before it goes left. Just putting up, trying to figure out thank God, I've worked with my therapist for a few years now on this too, in these later years before he passed away, but it was always like a project. I'm like, okay, well, Dad's tendencies are like this, and so are mine. So if I get like this when he does that, how do I prevent myself from being in a position where that could potentially happen to me? Maybe I don't hang out with him here. Maybe I hang out with him in a park, not at a bar.
Yeah.
Maybe I take my dad to the movies and I don't take him to a game. Yeah. Right? Trying to figure out how we could be together, but in a safe way. Right. And in time, it really benefited our relationship. Were we as close as I wanted to be before he died? No. But were we as close as we could be? Absolutely.
And that's a distinction. I love the way you put that, though. You know what I mean? You were as close as you could be. I think that's all we as humans can do to work to build a relationship, but we can only control us. Right. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add to that. You mentioned, because you're preparing for a marathon right now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's wild.
26.2 is crazy. I can give you 3.
What he about to
And
do?
I'm done.
What he about to do?
I'm like, yo, you.
He about to run a marathon.
So Freddie Tito, so yesterday, so when I was texting him about the show, right, I was on TV. And so it's the commercial, and he texted me back, but it was the voice, like he voiced messages or whatever it is. And so I had to read it because I couldn't play it. Right. And it was like, this is not making any sense.
Translation was crazy, bro. It was like, yo, tomorrow we got to fight, but we're going for it. I was like, bro, I
was like, what is this? he said, I'm training for a marathon. I said, got it.
Bro, you too talented. Don't die.
No.
Your ass about to die. You about to run how far?
26.2 miles.
Bro, man, listen, go sing, whatever. You have a beautiful voice.
Nah, do your thing, man.
For what? What are you doing that for?
He's been retired 10 years and hadn't worked out. So don't listen to that one.
Man.
Remember, we talked about loyalty, right?
Right.
That ain't the one you want to deal with.
Come on,
but
man.
no, I was going to get to, because you talked about your dad, in the thing that I saw, you say you had to stop in the middle of, while training, while out on the road running, and you just broke down crying.
I did, yeah.
Could you share with us kind of, what that moment was?
I'll never forget it. I know exactly where I was running to. I was running up some hill in LA, man. I was in Beverly Hills, like running, and I was running up this hill, and this shit could not be harder. It was just so difficult, and it was one of my first runs in training. And this is my first marathon. Like I've not necessarily been a runner before, but I'm just running up this hill and I'm just like, yo, this shit is terrible. And yo, I just start breaking down. And I just start calling out for my dad. Yo, it was the most wild experience. Like, I'm just like, Dad. I'm like, Dad, I need you, man. I'm like, Pops, please help me. Of all the people I could call out to, but I'm like, Dad, I need you. Please help me. Please help me. And I'm running up this fucking hill, and I'm like, yo, this shit hurts. And I want to quit so bad right now. I'm like, Dad, help, please. And then I start calling out to God, and I'm like, God, like Dad, God, and Dad, Mario, like both of you, if y'all hanging out, please help me. You know what I'm saying? And, it was, it was just an experience I can't really explain, but I've been finding that like on these runs, man, like when it starts hurting, I start to like, I'll get like an idea about something, or I'll start thinking about a person that I wasn't necessarily thinking about.
So is it therapeutic?
100%. 100%. I had no idea. This shit it's just like when you pushing your body, I mean, y'all know, y'all played at the highest level, you pushing your body to the limit. I don't know if this has happened to you guys, right? Like where you're just like, it hurts, but you gotta think of something that's gonna get you through to that next moment, or like, I don't know, like what has that been like for you guys? Like
It's the finish, it's gratifying.
Yeah.
I think it's the process too, though.
Yeah.
Right, it's when you cross the finish line, you have obviously reached your destination, but everything you learn to get to that point is what you take with you. And, that brings me to asking this question. You talked about being on Broadway and your homeboy coming there and saying that it was, a great show and it was fire. But you say that like it wasn't Hamilton, though. Yeah. Right? Like there are Broadway shows, and then there's Hamilton. And I haven't seen it. My daughter has, and she would make us watch it on Disney Plus all the time, right? Yeah. And the first time, I'm not gonna lie, I was hating. You know what I mean?
Damn, Ryan.
I was, dog. Hey.
Sound like Channing. Y'all should have came together. What the fuck is going on here?
Hey, my daughter got the tattoo and everything, and
Oh, that's why.
I met
What's this?
I met Lynn at WWE.
Oh, yeah. He loves that.
He was sitting right behind me, and I was like, hey, bro, I know this. And I know you might, I was like, can I take a picture with you and send it to my daughter? My daughter goes crazy. It was off Broadway in New Orleans, she went. But when you are a part of something that ends up being so big, how did it feel during it though, right? Because it grows into this big thing. While you're performing, do you know it was received the way it was?
When we did it off Broadway, that was the first time I felt like we had there's one show that sticks out to me in particular, right? It was like Busta Rhymes, Spike Lee, Mandy Patinkin. There's a bunch of people in the audience. They all I'm talking about as soon as the lights go down, they jump to their feet. We can see them. And they're just applauding. They don't want to stop applauding. And I see Spike like this. Like in the middle. And I'm like, oh shit. So we bow, and then they come back. Spike's like, yo, let's get a picture. I'm like, oh shit, Spike Lee wants a picture with me? That's crazy. And then like, all these amazing people we're meeting back there. And this is off Broadway. This is only 300 seats so far. And then Busta Rhymes gives us like a 30-minute speech about how he's just inspired by what he just saw and how he's like, yo, y'all got the king in the thing. I'm about to change my whole shit for my tour. I'm on tour right now with all his rings and his, Bus always got like a fat ass chain on.
Right.
So the shit is clinking while he's talking. And he's like, yo, I'm telling y'all, on God, that shit changed y'all changed the whole game with this shit. Y'all don't understand. Y'all for real spitting up there. And like, but he's saying this shit and I'm looking at him like, damn, yo, this is one of the greatest rappers ever. Yeah. Like giving us props. And, I'm like, and we're all just super like attentive, hanging on to every word. That was one of the first of many like amazing moments with that show. But that was one of the first, and it really stands out in my mind. Plus him being from New York, being from Brooklyn, like he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like every time I see him, he shows me so much love. He gives me like the biggest hug, like, and it's but like that was one of the moments. I think that was the first moment where I said, damn, I think we got one here.
Like you said, you read the scripts and you turn down stuff. I'm still hot with you about this $2-3 million thing.
No. But thank God both of those worked out.
Okay, but do you know, like when you read, like when Hamilton came up, you was like, oh, this is special. When this came up, this is special.
Yeah.
Like I said, I
wasn't turning shit down back then.
They were like Anthony Ray.
Let's get that straight.
I was like, Transformer dude. Yeah.
No. I was saying yes to everything. I said, what? You want me in a donkey costume in the back? You need me to hop around 3 times and make a donkey noise? I got you.
But do you know like Hamilton was about to be that? Transformers was about to be that.
Hamilton I knew was special, and like Transformers and the way Steven wanted to direct it and the way he wanted to cast it and the way he just was so fearless with the way he was, he had a monster. That movie was like $185 million movie, and he was coming off of Creed 2 and, I think, Stephen Cable Jr., man, is a workhorse. That guy is so talented. He's so smart, family oriented, and he just, he was just a beast with it. But when Hamilton, like the first time I heard the demos, they were just demos. They were just like if somebody put their phone out and voice recorded. That was what they gave us to learn the songs. This was before it even went into production. We were doing like a workshop for 4 weeks. It was still developmental. And when they gave me those voice notes to listen to, I was like, I couldn't stop listening to it.
Star is Born is one of my favorite movies.
Wow.
It's also like really, really sad.
So sad.
Right, and you play Ramon in that movie, but like the level of talent shown in that movie was so high, right? From the acting to the music, all of those things. What were some of the things you took away from the experience of filming that movie that has helped you moving forward?
Watching, Stephanie Gaga, crazy, like work ethic like you wouldn't believe. Like unreal. She's a special human. You know what I'm saying? Like just this fucking ball of power, bro. But watching, that was my first like big set. Ever get into a set and be like, damn, these are what trailers look like? Like, wow, like, that's a crane. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like they're gonna shoot a big scene on that one. Like, Bradley made me do 4 auditions for that. You know, and I did like 2 tapes. Then he wanted me to fly to LA to do a reading with the cast. And all of them are like, we can't wait to see you on set. And I'm like, do y'all know this is an audition? Like, I'm not in the cast yet, but I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to see y'all, man. It's gonna be great. Yeah, man, I'll see you guys soon, you know. And even that night, I didn't even know if I could make that work. I was singing in Arizona, I had a gig in Arizona. They're like, yo, we need you to fly to LA this morning, do this reading, and then I'm like, yo, but I got this gig this evening. They're like, this is the only way you're gonna get this job. So I'm like, shit, like, I don't wanna get sued by these people, but I also don't wanna lose this opportunity. So thank God I flew 45 minutes to LA, I did this reading with the cast, and I hopped straight back on the plane, and they told me I got the job on the way back to the airport, and I was able to make my gig that night in Arizona. But that was the first time I had been on a set like that, and I think you know, which I'm so grateful to Bradley and all of them, Lynette, the producers, everybody there at Warner Brothers for giving me the opportunity. But watching Bradley direct and act at the same time, that was some other shit. Like,
What
that
was
was
it about what he was doing that stuck out to be able to do both of those?
Because my man's was like, for example, there's one scene where we're at the Greek Theater and they're about to perform. I think him and Stephanie got their first scene where they're gonna sing together or something. But Bradley is in character and giving me direction. So Bradley's like, with all his makeup flush, you know, we got his eyes glossy, right? Because he's supposed to be a little buzz on stage. And Bradley's like, with his guitar, he's like this. Bradley turns around at me, he's like, all right, so when she walks, you're just gonna wait a couple steps and then you're just gonna give her some space and you're gonna move past her, but just give her a window right here. He's giving me direction in the Southern accent with the, like, and then he turns back around and just like hits it on stage and they crush it. And then they call cut and then he goes to the monitor immediately. And he goes to, they bring him the monitor, and then Bradley's watching playback on the monitor like this, after he just did that take. And I'm just like, yo, this guy's different, man. Wow. This dude is different. And I think watching him do that, I haven't directed anything yet, but watching him do that made me want to start. I started producing and directing's next. He made me want to direct. Wow. Like, seeing him do that, I was like, nah, yeah, I gotta get busy. Like, look at this, like, I'm like, man.
Right, even seeing that, but all that you do, you know, from Broadway, acting, singing, writing, everything, multifaceted. What inspires you, or what's your biggest pivot? Which is that one moment you can look back on and say, because this happened to me or for me, is the reason I am who I am today.
I think my biggest pivot was, I was on the baseball field when I was 17. I was in the outfield and I was playing summer ball. And I knew, like, I had been trying to keep this dream alive of being an athlete and being a baseball player. And like, all right, it's cool. If I don't make it to the major leagues, at least I'll play in college and then I'll be a baseball coach. And, you know, you gotta be a health teacher to be a baseball coach. So I'll take health classes, and I fucking hated science. You know what I'm saying? You know, and finally I'm like, I'm in the outfield and I'm just like, this ain't it. This ain't it. I gotta pursue this thing that I know. I don't know a lot about this, but I know how it makes me feel. I know what it makes me feel like to be on stage. I know what that feels like. Right. Even if I feel ridiculous wearing too much makeup, which, my teacher, she put me in a bunch of makeup on stage and I didn't even have to wear it. She had me on the eyeliner and all blush and shit. I'm like, they could see my face, bro.
Bitch, I got freckles.
Yeah, she was, what the fuck? She's like, you know, they're gonna help you see your eyes. I say, they can see my eyes. But, you know, I didn't, you know, whatever. I was like, you know, I'm wearing this blanket for a cloak because I'm playing Zeus in this musical, The Students' Row, with the Burger King crowns. I don't know if y'all remember them, that they used to be on top of the seats. But I just felt this joy, man, when I was on stage. And I think it was just that moment in the outfield where I was just like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't my life. And there was a few pivots in there. I mean, it was just a few of them, like, you know, like, and saying yes in those moments where I didn't feel comfortable. You know, I didn't feel comfortable doing a Shakespeare monologue for this audition. I didn't feel comfortable singing this musical theater song for my first audition, for the only performing arts school that I ever auditioned for, you know, and I didn't feel comfortable, you know, sharing my life story with this woman who I don't know, you know, but it was just all these moments where it's like, yeah, this is what I want to do, but I got to pivot from my plan. My plan is not the best plan here.
Right.
God's plan for me right now is the best plan, and I have to pivot from my plan, because if I stick to this one, I might not get what's intended for me.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and there were multiple moments like that, but I think that was probably the beginning of it. Just like I never showed up to a game. I didn't show up to a game. That coach was tight.
He should have been.
Yeah, he was
can't
pissed.
quit.
I quit. Yeah, and I kept the uniform.
When you guys came out with Ironheart, which was around the time I met you, it's the reason.
Yeah.
It's how I met you.
D23, right?
Yeah. It's how I met you. And there were kind of what they call it, review bombing.
Yeah.
Right? Review bombing because of the black female who was the superhero. When you go into sort of a project like that and it's being sort of torpedoed in that way, what's the reaction of all the people who are a part of it, and how do you support each other as something like that's released?
We're proud of it. That's the thing, right? Like, and I get to see people on the street be like, yo,
It was so dope.
Ironheart, love that shit.
So dope.
When season 2. Like, the reviewers could say whatever they want, right? People could be racist, they could be prejudiced, they could be whatever the fuck they want to be. But at the end of the day, that's the projects I want to be a part. I want to be a part of the ones where y'all like jarred. What? They hired this person for what? Dominique Thorne is a beast, bro. That woman is, yo, she's so talented, she's hardworking, she's beautiful, she's smart.
Smart. Yeah.
Everything her character is. And I'm like, yeah, she should be the superhero. No brainer. She's black, she's a woman. Yes, she is. So deal with it. So many black women out here that are smart, beautiful, all that, right? And yes, they should have a hero to look at like that, you know? You know, like Letitia Wright, and like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think people, it's tough for people. Like when we did Transformers, all them lead characters were white, bro. All white boys from like, I don't know where Shia LaBeouf from and Mark Wahlberg from, you know, Massachusetts. And look, they're both great actors. Like I'm a fan of both of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, it was a pivot.
Yeah.
For Lorenzo and for those guys to be like, yeah, Anthony Ramos. Yeah. Wait, what? Yeah, Dominique Fishback to play the lead.
What was that? You talking about when he was fast and sleepy?
Oh, which one? Oh, what, the scene?
Whatever, yeah. You kept take your ass to bed. I'm like, man, get your ass up, bro.
We were doing a night shoot, and I couldn't stay awake, bro. We had to reshoot that shit. That's the only time, hey, for the record, for anybody that working with me, that never happens, okay? This is a one-shot deal. I'm crazy. Don't even strike that from the record.
My bad. No way I read that. Yeah.
I dead ass I couldn't keep it together.
You were working too hard. Bob the Builder, ain't he?
Yeah, Bob the Builder, we're producing that now.
What's that like though, animation?
I love it, man. I love animated movies. I've been blessed to be a part of, you know, animated franchise and Bad Guys 2 and then Trolls 2. And, you know, and now with Bob the Builder, we've been developing this for a few years now. And when I told them my concept for the movie, I was like, I don't know. We'll see what happens, you know, Mattel. And then they were like, we love it. And I was like, fire. Amazing, you know, because I feel like we have something, we can do something really special with this animated movie. And it's like, what is Bob building? Who is Bob the Builder? Why? What is he building? Like, why is he building? For what? And he's not just building buildings, and he's not just building construction sites or whatever, or like at construction, he's building communities. He's building up young people, right? That's what he's building. So how do we bring all of those things together? All of those things are encompassing in that story, and we get to really see Bob in a different way than we did in the cartoons, you know. And I'm just really excited for people to be like, damn, I didn't know I was gonna feel that after Bob the Builder. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know.
That's also the cool thing with animated movies, though. You get to make them
Yeah.
what you want. It's
get-
what your creativity can be.
And we get to set the movie in Puerto Rico, you know, and you think about Puerto Rico and it's you know, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. Bioluminescent bays, the most beautiful beaches, but it's also, right, like, it's like when I went there during Hurricane Maria, or after, I went 3 months after Hurricane Maria, I was like, what were people doing? They were rebuilding, right? And there was this one woman that she kept saying, ¿Quién dice no se pueden? ¿Quién dice no se pueden? She kept saying, like, who said we can't do this? Who said? Because FEMA was taking mad long to come up to the top of this mountain. So there's a bunch of us volunteers clearing out what used to be this old man's house. And like a refrigerator fell on me. I'm like, shit. You know, like, yo, spoiled milk. Shit was crazy. But like, but yo, we're up there and we're doing this and this woman keeps saying this. And what's the saying for Bob the Builder? Can we fix it? Yes, we can. And she's saying, who said we can't do it?
Wow.
Damn.
That was like the spark for the idea for the movie, you know, and I was like, what if we did this, or what if we did that, and you know, like, and you know, it was inspired by things that have happened, but it was, you know, also a lot of it made up, but that struck me. I was like, yo, like, yeah, we're not just building a house here, we're not just building a building, we're not building a beautiful landscape, we're building community, we're building people up, so that they know that, yo, not only did we build this, it's not about us building it, right? The building was only the first thing, the first step. The real thing is the maintaining of it. Is us maintaining our relationships with each other and maintaining this community so we can maintain what we've built.
Right.
Man, bro, I'm gonna be honest. I've seen a ton of your work. You know, we've texted a few times. This was way, way better than I could have ever imagined, bro. Like, to get the real you, to not have to see you be who you are based on the script or who you are based on the song you've written, but just truly get to experience, man, like this sort of conversation with you, dog. It was amazing. And I'm truly, truly grateful, brother. Thanks, appreciate you,
Thanks
fam.
for having me, man.
Nah, no doubt.
Incredible, man.
Hey,
Incredible.
Hey, they gonna be like, the boy from Hamilton act like that? Hey, they gonna be like,
I know what my boy's gonna be like.
Hey, they gonna be like, Twisters?
The whole time I'm
They
sitting
be
here
like,
thinking
Twisters?
like,
That's the guy. That's the dude with the tight pants and the fucking polo.
He didn't act like that in Twisters.
Channing be hitting the bevel on these pictures.
it feels so much better when you're not sitting on your wallet.
I don't have as much money as you.
Nah, I seen your wallet. Your wallet thicker than mine. That shit just smush in. You got a smushy booty.
Channing definitely got a smushy booty, for sure.
I
You
like to
gotta
keep,
do some glute.
but I like to keep my items in my wallet. See, y'all don't got all y'all items.
Glute holes.
No. I don't. I like to just pile into it.
Bro, like
I
on
use
flights,
body-
man,
I
I'll
use
take
body
my
weight.
wallet and throw it in my backpack so quick, I will not sit on my wallet. Exactly.
Long humans
shit.
coming in here. What up, G? How you doing? Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you.
What's that?
Hey, what's up? Respect.
Hey, talking about big man?
Yeah, big man was
Yeah.
uncomfortable dapping.
That's how you know Draymond start trouble. He got security. Cause you wear 6 rings.
Man, the 6 range be sweet. You ever wore 6 range? Yeah.
The shoes.
6
The
rings?
Jordan.
6 range, the Jordan 6.
You be wearing 6 rings?
Man, I got about 12
day.
pairs.
Out of here.
Them shit's fire.
Hey,
That's like that's like wearing Jordan Fusions. You remember them Jordan Fusions?
With the Air Force One bottom?
Yeah.
I got about 10 pairs of them.
Oh, you country. Where you from the country?
The Transformers.
Was it, George?
Draymond Green, man, welcome to the Pivot.
I appreciate y'all.
Congratulations with this 9-time All-NBA defensive team, 4-time All-Star, but more importantly, 4-time NBA champion, future Hall of Famer. This is Channing Crowder, it's Fred T. I'm Ryan Clark. Pivot fam, thank you for pivoting with us. I went down to Draymond Green dark hole on the interweb. I found some urban legends of a young Draymond Green. I just want to know if this is true. Your mother and your aunt tell a story about you on a bicycle, going to a grocery store, taking chips, putting them on the counter with no money and telling the people, I'm Draymond Green.
You went deep. It's crazy. Neighborhood I grew up in, I'm from a small city. Everybody know everybody. So a neighborhood I grew up in, at 3 years old, that's when I took that bike and went to the store. I told them, you know who I am, I'm Draymond Green. And then they was hot about it, so I went and told my granddad. And he always had my back. My granddad was like, he was a man of few words. Like, you don't say much, but when he say something, you know, like. And so I went and told my granddad, but I walked out of there with what I was trying to get. My granddad went back and paid for me. But yeah, man, I don't know why I did that. But when I go back to these stories with my mom, different things as a kid, I kind of always had that confidence, but my mom pushed that. We were not really allowed to be fans in a sense. You could like who you like, but she always pushed, like, you gotta be so confident in yourself. And the way she go about it is, you don't bow down to man. Like, you just don't do it. And so, that's kind of the foundation of who I am.
Yeah.
You know, I came into the league, that's essentially what made me, is you don't bow down to anybody. So when I came in, it was like, I don't respect none of y'all. Because what you've done, you ain't do it to me. You did that to somebody else. And that's because of the foundation. That kid, that 3-year-old kid,
that's awesome,
going to the store saying, you know who I am.
Okay.
I'm gonna take this.
Great story. You just throw the bag of chips pretty much is what you did.
Hey, like, the same way he tried to act like Freddie T made it clean.
You made that shit sound real good. You just throw the bag of chips because your granddaddy had bread.
That's a fact.
But to that point, now as a 4-time champion, all defensive everything, all-star and all, Draymond Green and that personality means something now. It didn't mean nothing your whole life. What was the struggles of feeling that way that you feel inside, how your mom raised you, when you wasn't a champion, wasn't an all-star?
You know what? When I look back on it, number one, I've been a champion my whole life. I won middle school, I won in high school, I won in elementary. So I felt that way. And growing up in a city like that, like, those things matter. You know what I'm saying? It's a small city. You turn the corner, you see him, you turn that corner, you turn that corner, you see you. So I always felt that way. But I will tell you, her building that foundation like that definitely got me in trouble at times. Because the bravado didn't always add, to your point, the bravado didn't always add up to the guy. Yeah. But you couldn't necessarily tell me that. Like, to me, it made complete sense. And when I ultimately appreciate her pushing me to be that way, because to this day, it is still one of the main reasons that I was able to become who I, because I was able to always see it. Like, for some reason, little kid from Saginaw with no clue how to make it, always knew, like, no, I'm gonna do that thing. I'm gonna go and play there. I'm gonna be in the NBA. And it oftentimes don't make sense to me how this all panned out. Mm-hmm. But then I take the step back and I'm like, I did. It actually does make sense. But I don't know, man. It's a crazy journey, because at times, although I thought that way, I felt that way at times, I still can't fucking believe it really happened. It's like, yeah, you always said that, you always thought that, you know, 5, 6 years old, doing Dr. King, I Have a Dream speech on the stage, everybody listened to me. I have a dream that one day my 4 little children, like, everybody lock in. Here I am right here. I always felt that way. But it got me in a lot of trouble growing up, though, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Do you think it was just, well, mostly circumstance? Because we all come from different backgrounds, you know, much like a lot of other athletes, right? And people don't always take that deep dive to see how we came up and what we've really been through. But you're Saginaw, not too far from Flint.
Yeah.
I know a lot of dudes from Flint. I know Cleese, Mo P, Big Suge, Bear, Dre Rising, who was edgy. You know what I'm saying? K-Mark, J. Rich. So it's a lot of guys in that area, which isn't separated by much. And a lot of them right on the edge, kind of like how your personality comes across, right? When you take that deep dive, do you think it's just the circumstance of, you know, the demographics in which you were brought up?
Yes, because you have to be that way. Like, in that area, to your point, we all kind of the same.
Oh, right.
Like, Because that's the only way you can make it through those places. Like, you can't make it through Saginaw quiet. Like, you go to the park, if you don't talk, you can't get on the court. You go to the rec center, you're not talking, you can't get on the court. So it's almost like it's like a law. Like, you learn to be that way growing up there. Because again, we growing up in this little city, I may not like you. You right around the corner, bro.
Right.
And so on and so forth. And so in these small cities, Flint, Saginaw, you kind of got to face the issue. Like, I ain't going a week without seeing somebody.
Yeah.
You seeing people immediately in this place, like, and so growing up in these couple places, like, it does build a certain type of person because that's the way you have to be. And if you're not, like, you kind of you going with the wind if you not gonna be that person.
You know, you've always known who you are. And Saginaw seems much like New Orleans, right? Whereas, like, you knew the person around the corner, he could be your best friend, but there could be a day that y'all ain't getting along, y'all gonna throw hands, you gonna dap up afterwards, we gonna move on.
Absolutely.
Right? That's part of the culture. That's right. It's part of how we find solutions. We get things through and then we're done. You get to college, you know, you get into it with Derek Nix, I think it is, like, early on. Then, you know, you and Keith Appling have a little thing at practice too, but y'all found a way to move on. They understood we need Draymond Green, you understood you needed them. But then when the Jordan Poole situation happens, you're in a different world. And so now everything I've always been, everything I've always known is different today. What is it when you have that realization and now the world is sort of judging who you are at your core about something like that?
It took me, still at age 33, 34, 35, I still learn those lessons. Because I'm into it with Keith Appling and Derek Nix come out of nowhere. I could take a punch. I ain't even see it. And ears go crazy. Get him out. Get the out of here. How dare you? You f***ing soft as fuck. You come from the side. Put him out. And I'm in practice like, damn. They called me from the side, put him out. Yo, you're not putting him out of practice. You go in this locker room again. Yo, come back out here. We got to practice. And we move on. It just happened. We're not about to, like, what we doing? It's my teammate, fine. Like, yeah, you got me, we move on. And I've had a bunch of situations like that growing up. Sometimes I was the guy, sometimes I wasn't. Regardless, we move on. And so that's how I've always approached it. You know, in college, freshman year, I'm talking to one of the OGs, go around showtime. I'm in my chair, sitting back like this, locker room. We'd have been going at it on the court, locker room. And he could feel it, like his locker right next to mine, he could feel it. I'm getting there, I'm like, all right, I'm about to get up, I'm about to get bruh. As I'm thinking that, as I try to get up, and I'm a freshman again, so this is a fifth-year senior, good luck. Like,
Right.
as I'm trying to get up, he caught me in that chair, had me pinned down, like, what you gonna do? And he on top of me. All right, we move on. Mm-hmm. So when that situation happened, I'm like, all right, cool, we move on. And then when we couldn't, I was like, huh? And for a while, it made me think like, man, this dude nothing like me. Like, because when those things happen, you just move on. But it taught me so much because it taught me, you're right, he may not be like you. He ain't from where you from. The things you went through, the way you had to come up, he may not have came up like that. So for that 5 seconds, I forgot where I was at because I immediately went to what I know. But what you know don't really work here. Yeah. And everybody say, oh man, but you was 10 years in, you should know better. You're still learning, 9 years in. But it's them lessons like that that ultimately make me who I am to this day because, man, I fucked that up.
Bruh, I know you hate the angry black man title, because it means so much more than just the adjectives and the nouns. Because that's why they try to title people, the rebellious and all that stuff. So I say you are a African-American male that might have anger problems.
So you just gonna use the technical term.
That's what he said because I heard you say you don't like angry black men, but it's crazy to look online and it's like Draymond Green's 32 fights. Like, this motherfucker fought 32 times while playing basketball. So like to this conversation where it's like, and I'm like that too. Man, we can lock up, go have a beer afterwards. I told stories about NFL. We'll wrestle in the locker room, get my lip buzzed. Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll slide to the strip club in a little bit and have a good time. But it seems as if you might have a little something else inside of you. Like, I don't know what makes it, but you almost can't control yourself at times. I've seen that.
You know what? And I'm not afraid to admit that to you. When I'm on that court, it's a different person. The guy who's sitting here with you right now, it's not the same person. And it took me a long time to accept that. When I say a long time, maybe like the last year. But I had to go through it to realize that and be comfortable with accepting that. So on the court, I'm in a different space. What it requires me to be great, I gotta take it there. I don't jump like these dudes. I'm not as fast as these dudes. My edge is I can get you here though. Wow. But I'm also not fake. So if I can get you here, I still gotta be willing to go there. Or how do I really get you here? If I ain't really willing to, you see through it. And so the problem I have with the angry black man is, in accepting what it is, which is, I know the guy who on the court is a different dude. It's also what make me have the opportunity to be a catalyst of 4 championships. Mm-hmm. It's what makes the 9 defensive teams with the limitations that I have. And so the problem I have with that is, maybe on the court, that's possibly true. But people take the court and then apply it to the man that comes sit here. And that's not the case.
As the father, as the husband, as the businessman, as all that.
That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, I play basketball. A, it's entertainment. B, we're competing. Something that I'll do on the court, you couldn't get me to do sitting right here. You couldn't even get me off my square like that.
Yeah.
I saw Fred VanVleet last night. Me and Fred, we got a relationship. Got a lot of respect for him, young fella. Like, his journey, beat me in the championship. And I'm playing Houston, and I kind of got this thing, bro. If I'm playing against you and I rock with you, because I know I could go there, if I'm playing with you and I rock with you, you get into something, I ain't getting in that because, bro, I don't fuck with many people. So me and Fred got into it game 3. I said some choice words that as soon as I said them, it's like, I knew it right away. That series went 7. I never said the words again in the rest of the series. We dapped it up, we hugged up. I saw Fred last night, he was with Rich. I pulled up. He like, yo, I need to talk to you. As soon as I got to the table, I said, what's up to everybody? Creep back around, pull this chair up over here. What's up, talk to me. What you said, the words you said, like I was, and as soon as he starts, I said, I'm sorry. I was wrong. And I knew it right away. But when we on the court, I'm into it, I'm mixing it up with your teammates, and he did what he had to do. Mm-hmm. I'm mixing it up with your teammates, and you coming to the rescue, but the way these little niggas talking, and you come to their rescue.
You're part of them now.
You with them now.
Agreed.
The gloves are off. I'm willing to go there now. And to your point, right there, I'm like, it's over. We in it. I actually wanted to see you. Because I felt as soon as I did, Mm-hmm. And so that's the problem I have with it is, don't try to take what I'm doing, what I do in my job, what I do to make a living, what I do to compete in, and try to dumb me down to just that. Because I'm way smarter than that. I am so far from that and the man that's standing here. When I do my job, I am. But they try to put the angry black man tag on you like you walk out in the world, you ain't got good sense. I'm far from him.
I think a lot of it is there's so much PTSD in our community, and when you look at patterns, that's for anyone. It becomes a part of our personality a lot of times, and you know it's really hard to differentiate between the two. So that's probably why you know someone might look at you and say, "Oh, there go that crazy ass Draymond boy. You better watch out. You never know what he's thinking or what he's gonna do." Because it's psychologically, that's how it's labeled, or you know, or even sociology, that's how it's labeled. But every time I see you, I believe that the Nas Ether song just gonna start playing. You know, the one with Dion got the voiceover. What about you, or what about me? Think you worry about my opinion, your opinion of me, right? I believe that you just have that mindset. Am I far off? Like, do you worry about any of the stuff that you hear on the outside?
For a long time, I didn't, until it really started to affect me. Started to affect people around me. I never cared. And then it's like, wait a minute, they're saying I'm this. They're almost portraying me as if I'm a dummy, as if I can't control myself. Before that, I'd say over the last 2-3 years of where it start, like, oh no, like, this guy can't control himself. But don't say that to me because we ain't doing that well. Because when we was doing great, I was the same person. And it was like, oh, that's how they win. But because we ain't doing well, now I'm crazy? Nah, like, that's my edge. Like, they like, yo, he can't control himself on the court. No, you did some bullshit, and I'm just gonna get you back. I'm not fake, so I'm not hiding. I'm not gonna act like I ain't try to do it. No, you shouldn't have did that shit.
Right.
And if I let you get away with that, then I don't have the edge on you. So I can't let you get away with that. So I'm gonna get you back. And I'm not hiding, getting you back. So you will see me get you back. The way I kind of view it is, for me, it's conscious over consequence.
Okay.
I gotta deal with my own conscience when I walk out of here. I can sleep better at night dealing with the consequence than I can my conscience. So I'm going to fucking get you back.
Shannon, who he sound like? Who does he sound like? So
Yo,
I'm
crazy
gonna tell you,
ass.
bro. For some,
He can't let things go.
but
I'm gonna get you back.
Dre, here's the thing, man. Like we have had, it's just select basketball players have been on our show, and Fred VanVleet was one of them. Chris Paul, you. There are certain ones that sit down, and right away when they sit down, I go, "That's my type of guy." Right? We had DeJounte Murray on recently, and I was like, "It's my type of guy." I think what sort of locked me into what you were saying about Fred is that you did something to him that he couldn't let go either, right? But instead of making it a big deal and tweeting or having, he pulled you aside like a man in a quiet moment and said, hey, I don't need to talk to you. And I respect that so much that you were willing to sit down, but also on his side of it, being built in a way where you have conversations with men when you disagree with them. And so I just wanted to say, man, like I just really respect the fact that he could pull you aside and you could say, nah, man, in that case, I was wrong. I knew it right away. I was looking for you too. I respect that, man.
No doubt. And those guys you just named, CP, I hate it, man. And I got the opportunity to play with one of my favorite teammates of all time. He probably gets tired of me sometimes. I just randomly out the blue call him. He don't answer. I call right back. He hit me back like, see what you doing. We hour and a half conversation out the blue. DeJounte, since he came into the NBA, I first met him. I just pour love into him. Like, bro, play against him. Just try to give him a tip. He had his first camp in Seattle last year. I went. I love DeJounte. Fred just spoke about him. So the guys you name, and them are my type of guys. Like, I don't have a relationship with many guys in the NBA, but the ones that I have is strong. And those guys, they are the type of guys. I've had a mix up with all of them. CP, we mixed it up for years. But I can move past those things when you talk as men. What I don't respect is, I told Fred, I said, man, the rest of the night I kept going back like, bro, I'm so happy you talked to me. Because you don't know how many times I go through this and like you think you got a relationship with somebody and something happened in the game and they fold. And you see them, they weird, and like, bro, just talk to me.
Right.
If I was wrong, I'll tell you I was wrong. Or I'll give you my side. Or I'll tell you I was wrong and Fred, this is where it came from. You know what I'm saying? Like, but don't get weird. These dudes, they be getting weird. And I don't understand that. Like, bro, we can have a conversation.
Right.
And so again, with all of those guys that you just named, Fred, we had our moment. CP, we had moments. Me and DeJounte actually got into it once in Carbone in Vegas. We standing there with Farrah from Clutch. DeJounte come downstairs. He wasn't even down there with us. He come downstairs to talk. And I had said something to him that he didn't like. When I played it back, young fella taught me something because I was dead ass wrong. And I would never share what it was, but he taught me something in that moment. And we mixed it up. We was about to fight. And I told my boy Trav, I'm like, man, a couple of my boys like, man, me and DeJounte, they know how hard I rock with him. And I waited to see him. And my first time seeing him was, we played him. And we were standing at the free throw line. And boom, we had the conversation. Damn. Because I hit him up, and he was hot. And he actually had he was 1,000% right to be hot like that. But I'm not going to let this go on without having a conversation. So if we gotta have this conversation right here on this court, if that's where I'm gonna get the conversation at, that's where I'm gonna get the conversation.
I love that, bro.
Farrah was so goddamn happy. She's like, I'm so happy y'all talk. I'm so happy. But like when I have these situations with people, from that point on, I know you my type of person. So the relationship just gets so much stronger.
Yeah.
Like, all those guys, because the relation, like I told Trav last night, I'm like, Trav, no, I actually just told him walking over here, I said, Trav, my relationship with Fred about to get so much stronger. And it's already strong. It's about to get so much stronger because, man, you so much like me. Like, you want to have that conversation. I want to have that conversation. I don't want to be weird, bro. We come in the spot, you acting weird. Now I feel like, you know, dudes start acting weird. I feel a little like a bully because you won't talk. Like, man, just talk. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now I gotta kind of tiptoe because I know you acting weird and I don't want you to think I'm bullying you because if I was trying to bully you, I'd just bully you. Like just talk to me, man. Yeah. And so all of those guys, there was a conversation and the relationship just go, but that's my type of guy, man. Like,
well, I just want you to know what Channing calls it is assholes love assholes. And so he says that he's
an asshole.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that. Did anybody ever tell you that? You talking about real men telling you stuff. You know you an asshole?
I'm a very, very nice person.
To who?
He said he's an asshole on the court.
He's been great to me.
On the court. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's been, since the moment I met him, he's been awesome.
I think I'm actually too nice.
Listen, listen, you just stuttered and you don't stutter. I watch you on TV. You see how you
he's so articulate, right?
See how you bring it back in your mind? Because that's you running from it. Don't run from it. Embrace your assholism.
No, on the court, I'm a complete asshole.
To that, because you talking about people, you'll beat the hell out of them Europeans. You choke the hell out of Gobert. Nurkic, you slapped the shit out of him. Zabonis, you yoked him on his head.
Hit it with the...
And what's the boy this year, Houston? Oh,
Şengün.
Boy, you were giving, why you kept pushing the man, grabbing his arm, elbowing him in the ribs? But I did notice, when Big Steve Adams came out there, you kind of calmed down a little bit.
You know what? With Şengün, number one, this your first time in the playoffs. I got to test that.
Yeah.
He's 23 years old. He only getting better in this league. I got to test that. I need to try to have something mentally on you as I age into this career and you getting better in yours.
Yeah.
I got to test that. Mm-hmm. I gained so much respect for that young fella in that series because I told Fred this last night. In the beginning, he was folding. He was folding in the beginning. And he caught up and he stood up. And once you stand up, we gonna go at it, but I ain't Like, all right, I like that. Like, yeah, all right, cool.
Gain respect.
And I gained respect from him. Steven Adams, that respect is already there.
I got you.
Like, we've been through the...
You kicked him in the dick.
I ain't tried to, but,
But
What is wrong with you?
I watch this man in the playoffs every year.
But check this out, though. You know what? Right after that game and after the series, I waited for him in the hallway.
Really?
Chop it up. And you know what he said? Bro, we out there playing basketball. Mm-hmm. To the point of this being the guy I don't need to mix it up with like that because there is that mutual respect. A reporter asked him during the series, some question trying to like make me look crazy. And he said, man, we out there battling for something. We both trying to get the same thing. He ain't crazy. That's what happened. In so many words, that's what happened between the lines, and he just out there doing that. In the middle of the series, he says this to a reporter. That's why you don't see that. Because what we're gonna get into about, I'm a boom. Man, Steven Adams strong as hell. But as the series went on, if you go watch the film, bro, on the box, I just start grabbing his arms. Like, bro, I'm gonna just grab you. Because I'm ending up on the floor too much. Like, I can't keep ending up on the floor, getting up. Like, after I'm getting up to take the ball out. Like, I'm ending up on this floor too much. Yeah, right. I gotta hold this defense down. I'm 6'5", bro. I gotta anchor this defense. I can't keep ending up on the floor. You might look at me in certain times, so I just start grabbing, bro. And I come out of nowhere, boom. He come out of nowhere, just like throw me down like a rag doll. And I'm like, I don't get up and say nothing to him. I come out of nowhere, bow. He don't say nothing. It's a respect there.
I got you.
It's a respect for the competition. So it's no need, like, we mixed it up before. The respect level is already there.
Yeah, Channing had a similar moment, but when he went to meet the guy, not in the hallway, he went to the bus. And it was a different type of situation. Your Matt Light story.
Yeah, we got into it. I talked a lot of trash, and I asked you this, because you talk trash. I see, I don't know what you're saying. Why y'all be all cute with y'all little mouths covering your mouth up and on?
Because, man, you had the helmet on. You could say anything.
Yeah.
This camera catch everything we say.
Everything, bro.
Everything.
Have you ever talked trash and hit too close to home? Well, you done really upset some dude. Because you can call them all the names, soft and all that stuff. It's just sports. I used to do research on guys. Well, like dudes would play with guys in college, and now we're on different teams, and they knew I talked, and they'd be like, hey, well, he did this in college, or his old lady, who's now his wife, did this in college, and I would say that during the game, and then I'd see a dude look, like, and I'd be like, oh, I got him now. Mm-hmm. Have you ever got too close to home with trash talk?
Bro, I didn't went so close to home, bro. I don't do the woman thing. Like, I ain't gonna talk about your lady. That's where I draw the line. Yeah. It's about the only line I draw, because your mom, I'm crushing her. And everybody else, I ain't gonna talk about your lady, I ain't gonna talk about your kids. Those two to me, they off limits. If you start talking about somebody, lady, I don't respect that. Yeah. So if I even hear something like that, it ain't even gotta involve me. I'm coming to the defense of the guy. Like,
whoever gets that.
Jalen Green, everybody had their opinions on him. It's one of the things that really pissed me off in this series and why I went that bruh so crazy. Everybody talking shit about him and his woman. That ain't none of y'all business. Get out that man's business. I'm publicly defending him like, y'all stop. That's whack to me. I don't rock with that. So that's where I draw the line. But I have said some stuff that I wasn't too proud of, that hit way too close to home, bro. I won't put specific people's names out there, but I've said stuff to people about dead siblings, all type of stuff. And it's like, it was very low. But he was kind of attacking me, so then I don't know how to stop. But I can draw the line with those two. Yeah. But yeah, bro, I've had too many that went way too close to home, but that's where it is. Like, that's what we do. Again, growing up in Saginaw, there is no line. You gotta find the angle and you gotta use it. And I do my research, so I already know stuff. So if you, I ain't gonna lead out, though. I don't lead out with like stuff like that. I'm gonna lead out talking shit, maybe. if I need to get under your skin, you gotta be really good for me to be trying to do that, dog. But I don't lead out with that stuff, but where people get fucked up is, once you go there with me, the glove's off. I'm gonna say whatever I'd have to say, whatever I think. I don't really think the two things about the kids and the lady, because those are just off-limit things, but anything else, I don't give a how deep it is. And I've had some ones, bro, that my boys think I'm crazy. Like, Dave, you crazy. You can't say that to him. Like, but I had to say that. Like, and so, yes, I agree with you, but you wild for like going to the ladies and stuff. We would have had to fight.
They did the cheap shot, hitting in the back and all kind of stuff, and then okay, well, we got. Anybody ever got you?
Yeah, yeah. Well, as far as my lady?
No, just
cheap shots.
No, got you verbally, where you done turn like Draymond Green.
No. Nah, man, hell no. Because you got to be willing to go so far. And guys really ain't willing to go that far.
Recently, Steph said he deals with imposter syndrome, right? And I kind of talked about it, being an undrafted guy, and saying, yeah, like, there are those doubts that creep in from time to time because you remember the adversities, you remember the struggles. You know, you, a second-round guy that goes on to be a Hall of Famer and an NBA champion. In playing with Steph and even through your career, how have doubts crept in to what you guys were trying to accomplish together based on the fact that both of you were not expected to be what you've become?
You know, when I saw Steph say that, I was like, damn. I know Steph really well. We spent 13 years together. I've probably spent more time with Steph over the last 13 years than anybody in my life. Because you, at home, you together, practice, gym, game, that thing, this thing. On the road, you together. At home, I'm with my family. On the road, I ain't. I'm always with for the last 13 years. So I know him really well. I didn't really know that. But when he said it, I was like, makes sense. Because I too feel like that times. But I'm also not Steph Curry, so I'm like, oh, dang, him too? The doubt for both of us, it's what our journey is built on. Clay too. Like, wasn't highly ranked coming out of high school, you know. He went to Washington State. Clay, he loved Washington State, but come on, bro, you went to Washington State for basketball. What are you talking about? Right? We all were, in a sense, overlooked. And so the doubt is actually what did this for us. You didn't see it coming. You doubted all of us. He too small, not strong enough. He can't dribble well enough, blah, blah, blah. He can't play, he don't shoot it. About all of us. And our foundation is actually built on, I'm covering his weakness here, he covering my weakness there, he gonna cover his weakness there. It's all because of the doubt. We bonded around that and used everything we had together to lift this thing up. And so the doubt, when I go back and I look back on the journey, it all started at the same place for all of us, although different, very different, right? Like, they sons of NBA players, I'm in Saginaw with shit. Like, but yet all doubted. And that's what brought us together and lifted us up and created this thing that I still can't believe. Like, damn, we won 4 championships. Yeah. Like, but it is built on the doubt. It's like we banded around each other on the doubt. And I think that's one of the most beautiful parts about our journey. But yet it's also what makes it what it is, because it's the reason we have such a fondness of each other. It's a reason that we'll go to hell and back. People be like, yo, I don't know how Steph deal with him. I don't know why Steph still want him on this team. You'll never understand why. You'll never know everything we went through, the conversations we have, the things we go through. You'll never know. But again, we're bonded by the doubt. That's what ultimately brought us together. So it's probably the key ingredient to everything you've seen us do. It's the doubt. And so we put those things together. We relied on each other. There is no one of us without the other one. You can say, oh man, there's no Draymond without Steph. There's no Steph without Draymond. There's no Clay without Steph. There is not one of us without each other. Could we all have reached our own individual greatness somewhere else? You got it. It come out somehow.
Yeah.
But through the doubt, standing on top of the doubt, nah, we built this thing that you can never speak about me without them two, and vice versa. And I love that Steph is so great that people think they don't need to. I love that. That's my brother. I want everybody in the world to think he's as great as I think he is. So I think he's the greatest in the world. You can't tell me nothing. So I love that, you know? But on the flip side, amongst that group, we feel that way. So I really don't give a shit what anybody else thinks.
I love that.
That's what I felt too. That Ether song just started. But we all have been through moments of doubt as we tend to age in our sports, right? We start like kind of looking out like, man, I don't know. Because you're not able to reach that, you know, that highest of highs, you know, in your ability. RC's been through it, Channing's been through it, 13-year career. He's the only one in here that's won football, a Super Bowl, right? You've won 4 championships in the NBA, like the pinnacle 4 times. Steph, Clay, the whole crew. Do you think that doubt creeps in more as you guys start to, you know, get older and your abilities start to come down a little bit, and you can kind of see on the horizon? You've even mentioned about retirement, right? You're an active player doing inside the NBA. So it's not too far. You're getting ready for your post-career. Like, do you think any of that has anything to do with you guys being able to recognize that imposter syndrome?
1,000%. I think, but it's also our respect for the craft. You know, it's the respect for the greatness. So sometimes, like some of these things that's happened to me, I love Steve Kerr, man. We've had our battles, man. But he know me like a book now, and I know him like a book. And some of the things that's happened with me over the last couple years is due to the doubt.
Right.
Self-doubt. Because I'm like, man, like I ain't able to get to that level sometimes that I thought I.
It's frustrating.
And it's frustrating, and I'm like, fuck, like, I'm willing to do anything to get to that level. And so that crazy anger you're talking about, sometimes that come out because I'm like, I'm struggling, and I'm trying so hard to push through it that I'm willing to do anything, but this league ain't really cut for that. You know what I'm saying? So that doubt that you speak on is also what's still pushing us, especially me, but that doubt is also some that has led me to some of these things over the last couple years. Because when I knocked Nurkic out, I really couldn't find it that game. And they was like, I ain't knock him out, but you know, like, he went down. He laid down, so it probably is a knockout because you're a big man, you can't lay down like that. But that game, I had nothing. I was terrible. Whole first half, we start the third quarter, I'm trying to find it. Bro grabbing my side, wow. Like, you look at some of these situations and it's like, you start looking at that and you become self-conscious about it. And so when I'm feeling within myself that, and then it's like fight or flight mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I go into that and it lead to some of these moments. I feel that as I get older in this league. And that's what I've been trying to channel. Because, so this year, I was able to get back to like a high level of playing. And I think one of the things that pissed me off was like the angry black man is like, now I'm getting penalized and I'm actually chilling. Like, right. I'm actually chilling because I ain't feeling that doubt of like, fight or flight. Like, no, it's all working for me. And now I'm being penalized. I'm actually out here chilling now. That thing ain't sparking me the way it was because I'm actually playing at a great level that I think I need to be playing at. And so the doubt ain't triggering something. But that doubt triggers something for me, man, because I want to be at that elite level still. And if I'm not, then I got to do whatever I need to do to get to that level. But again, it's like, it's something that I told you, bro, I therapy, all that. It's something that's what I'm saying. It's something that I talk about with my therapist because it's a real thing for me, bro. I've been a basketball player my whole life. When you start to see a little bit of a decline, it's like, whoa, damn, whoa. But I'm still at that level. I can still get there, so I'm gonna do whatever. But the therapy has helped me a lot, bro. It's helped me a lot.
So if a dude calls you, I'm trying to cuss less. I'm trying to better myself. If a dude calls you a female dog, you could walk away?
The last time I was called that, I punched somebody. I'm still learning.
Tomorrow, if it happens.
If we was just walking down the street.
Just going to the bodega.
I might stop, but I'm gonna keep it pushing.
So it's working.
Because you can realize those people aren't worth it.
Yeah.
That's the conversation you always have. Like, why am I going to lose, or why would Draymond Green from Saginaw, Michigan, who had nothing, lose that over this person? Mm-hmm. And I think, like, that is part of the growth.
Can I say something one second
Absolutely,
before you go? But that's not my struggle.
Your struggle's on the court.
The struggle is if you call me that on the court, where do I go? Because if you call me that in life,
you good.
Bro, you're not getting me off my square like that. Mm-hmm. In my mind, I probably think I can whoop you, but you ain't getting me off my square like that. The problem I have is on the court. Mm-hmm. And that's why when I was the suspension with Nurkic, and I'm talking to Adam Silver, I'm like, Adam, I'm done. I don't want to play anymore. Okay. Because the problem for me is on the court, and I felt like, damn, I got a bright future after this, and this court is about to cost me that. And so, if I'm walking to the bodega, no problem. But that ain't my issue. My issue is on the court. You called me that, and I'm in a different headspace. How do I handle that? And that's also, like, that's where the therapy is, like, because that's the guy that really needed the help. And so, if it was happening on the court today, I still can't 100% say to you that I won't do anything.
You're two different people, is what you're saying.
For sure.
Like the Hulk. Banner's a scientist, smart as hell,
sure.
sensible, but then he gets mad and becomes this irrational monster.
Absolutely. It took me a while to accept that. But that's just on the basketball court. Off the court, the likelihood that you'll see me how I am on a basketball court is so slim. Off the court, unless I'm comfortable, I won't even say much. If you talk to my family, by the way, they be like, oh, my mom, it tripped my mom out. She come to the house, she come in town, and people say all these things. She be like, if they only know, you don't even talk. I don't say much. I gotta be really comfortable in the situation to talk. And so that's why I was like, yo, it's really confused. It's really, like, this is bleeding over here. And I take so much pride in the man that I am, how I stand, that I was gonna be done. I'm like, no, I'm done, like, because it's costing me. So that, I mean, I am. But it took me a lot of inner work. And I'm also, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm writing a book. And that process was so therapeutic for me because it's actually where I worked my way through. I was writing, it's actually where I worked my way through, like, oh shit, it is two different people. I'm like, they probably think I'm crazy as hell. But it is two different people. On the court, like, I am a menace.
You think?
But off the court, I think I'm arguably one of the nicest people you'll meet. But on the court, I am a menace. It's two completely different people.
I have told people about meeting you. And, I am one of those people that, like, once I know you, you don't get to say bad things about people I like, right? And I also feel responsible to go, okay, I know him. If they say your name, hey, I met him. Now you can say whatever you want, but I need you to know that this is a person I know personally. So you got to be very careful about what you say because I feel like I can say whatever to you in their defense. Another thing that you remind me of, if I was having this conversation last night about being able to process my feelings. I don't feel that people get to affect me and live their lives like they haven't. Right? You don't get to have, or I don't have to process something without you having to process that I've been impacted. And so a lot of times you talked about like your conscience and
Conscious of my conscience.
over consequence.
Over consequence.
Right. My thing is always, if I get it out, no matter what happens afterwards, I'm comfortable with that because now I don't have to, I can look myself in the eye and say, okay, I respect the way I handled this situation. And I think that's a process to learn how to deal with those things. I'm about to do something that I do very often on this show, Draymond, and I haven't done it in a while. I'm gonna cut the room, right? And so when I cut the room, this has been only conversations people with championships can have, professional championships. So right now it's just, you know, us talking because these two has never been one.
8th grade, South Georgia, Gatorade champion.
But I say that though, man. Once you win a ring and a championship, everything else feels like a failure. Playing Toronto and getting there and not winning it, that's a failure. Playing the Cleveland Cavaliers and being up 3-1 and losing, that's a failure. To many other people, that's a great success, but when you feel what it feels like to have the trophy, everything else is just a part of the journey on the way to a destination that's ultimately important. Recently, LeBron James spoke about ring culture and how, in summarizing, like it doesn't define like the individual's greatness. I disagree with that. I think part of being great is being great in the most important moments that allow your individual talents to elevate a team. How do you see LeBron's comments, but also how do you feel about ring culture and the value that we put on that as it pertains to individual teams and players?
So I understood what Brown was trying to say. I do think, and I get the point. I don't think he did a good job of explaining it. And so when you are a champion, easy for you to say, yo, it don't matter because I'm a champion. Like, but what Brown was trying to say, at least what I think he was trying to say, you got people that haven't done this and they use that to dumb down the greatness of other guys that haven't necessarily done it. Chris Paul is a winner. I tell people all the time, Chris Paul ain't never won a championship. Chris Paul is a winner. Never fortunate enough to get quite get over the hump for whatever reason, whether that was his individual ability, but that don't mean he ain't great. And so I understand what Brian was saying because it's like, well, if you didn't, in this media culture that we live in today, it's like, well, he ain't got a ring, so I could just blah, blah, blah. I could just crush this guy. And that's what Brian was getting at. It's like, don't take away these guys' greatness because they didn't get a ring, and then you just start speaking on the ring. But you've never, like, for a lot of people, they've never even played at this level. And so, and they use that to tag these guys. But you don't know how hard it is to win a championship. And so you start talking about these guys that didn't win, but you don't know how hard it is to win a championship. So when they say ring culture and kind of use it as this, from its negative connotation, what Bron is saying, I'm watching these people say, this guy ain't great, that guy ain't great, this guy ain't great because they didn't win a ring. They still great. And so what it boils down to for me is, I get what he was saying because those guys he named a few names. To me, they are still great. Yes, they didn't win a ring, but I know it's so much more that has to go right to win that ring. And you don't have a clue. And you're gonna crush this guy, and you don't know what it takes. You don't know all the things that need to go right. To win a ring, that shit is hard. It's very, very, very hard. You speak on ring culture. It's worked against Kevin Durant in the opposite way. It's so hard to win a ring. Our teams made it look so easy that people say Kevin Durant just went over there and walked to a ring. Man, without Kevin Durant, I don't know if we was going to win another championship. He didn't come and walk to a ring. We just got that good and made it look that easy. And so then this dude got the 2 rings and they still use it against him. That's the problem with ring culture. That's what LeBron was getting at.
But what happens when you have somebody who is as great as Chuck that has bought into, right, I have no rings, I'm a Hall of Famer, but I can only sit at this table and not over there with the likes of the Birds, the Magics, the Jordans. Like when those comments come out where he totally disagrees with LeBron's sentiment, and this is what he's bought into after all these years. Even Shaq teases him all the time, man, you ain't got no ring, Chuck. You shouldn't even be in this conversation. Kind of like cutting off the room. When we all have gone through the gauntlet to try and get there. And as great as I was in Jacksonville, and I'm just throwing it.
Hell yeah.
I'm ringless, but I don't feel that way. Like I wouldn't have that same mindset as Chuck personally. But how do you feel about when those type of comments are kind of
Shaq
included?
got our little 4-ring handshake at the desk. It's fun picking on Chuck at the desk. I'm so honored I get the opportunity to work with those guys, man.
The best show on TV.
It's one of the honors of my life that I get to sit up there with those guys, man. But I think Chuck's able to accept it and embrace it like that because he became so great at something else. So he didn't win a championship. He's arguably the greatest sports voice we've ever seen. With what he can do with a microphone and move a world. Bow, and it come like that. I've been honored to be able to work with him and watch him work, and it's just like, boom, boom, boom. He's arguably one of the great sports voices we've ever seen. Key cog in one of the greatest, probably the greatest sports show we have ever seen. Yep. And so I think due to that, Emmy after Emmy after Emmy, I think due to that, he's able to say, fuck it. Yep, I ain't win, and look at me now. And so I think it's different for Chuck because of that.
What about just his greatness? Because Chuck, like, you can't argue, what he did on that court. What about that part of it? Because he was better than a lot of these guys that kind of move around. Like, all right, let's say Robert Horry, for example, and I don't want Robert to catch a stray, but he got 6 of them.
Also,
Seven.
Yeah. Also, too, though, Freddie T, I think, and this is just my opinion, obviously you know better than me, like when we talk about football, this conversation, it's in my opinion, the ring conversation only comes into play once you are considered an all-time great, right? We don't talk about players who are unimportant and the amount of rings they have. Most of the times when we're speaking on ringless people, it's because they're Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And a lot of them first ballot Hall of Famer. And what happens is when we're starting to tier the greatest of the greats, the thing we think about is, what moment do I remember that he was a part of or that he orchestrated that got himself and his team a ring? I think that's where it comes into play, is when we're saying, hey, Stephen Curry is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the greatest shooter that has ever lived. And on top of that, look what that got him. How do you quantify that, or how do you feel about that statement that, yeah, we've acknowledged that you're great because we're talking about how many rings you have?
It's definitely validate. Like, it's definitely a validation. Like when I walk in the room, I walk to the table, like, don't get it twisted. Me being a 4-time champ, you're gonna feel that. Yeah. Like, and I feel like some validation from that when it comes to basketball, when it comes to, when I walk in the room, like, let's face it, some rooms I walk into, I am just always gonna be Draymond, the basketball player. When I walk in that room and I know I'm walking in as Draymond, a basketball player, the confidence that I have is as if I'm walking through there like this. Like, that's the validation that I feel walking into that room as a basketball player. So it is a validation, and as your greatness grows, more happens. So, for instance, Steph, like, we all can agree that he been doing it at an elite level for a while now. But we all can also agree, 2022 put him in a different stratosphere.
MVP.
When it was like, oh, he put them on his back, and he had that moment that uplifted, it put him in a different stratosphere. So it's a double-edged sword, man. Like, it's unfortunate for some guys that it didn't quite work out and whatever could have went wrong. Like, sometimes you only get one chance. If OKC, we're obviously filming this before Game 7, if OKC don't win this championship, I don't think they'll ever win one. Because you only get, you have an opportunity, and this is what, back to Bron's point, people don't understand when you ain't been through it. You have an opportunity. If you don't kick the door in, kick the window in when you got the opportunity, you may never get the opportunity again. Team ain't gonna look the same next year. Salary cap stuff start happening, extensions start happening. You gotta get rid of this guy, you gotta get rid of that guy. And so when you talk, it's a double-edged sword because, yes, you start talking about people's greatness, lessening their greatness due to not having a ring. But on the flip side, yes, it does validate. And the thing that we all don't like is people take it and they try to stab this guy that didn't get it. And I know, yes, you played 13 years. You played 13 years, right?
No, I played 6.
Okay,
Too
you
much
played
strip club.
6.
I got up out of there.
13, right? Champion. But what I know as someone who's won it 4 times is I know I could see where it could have went wrong because it only
So much
take
gotta go right.
just one time. Like your chance may have been that one time, and CP pulled his hamstring.
Yeah, yeah.
You didn't kick the door down when you had to kick, and it's just way harder. And so I know that in winning it, and that's the problem that I be having when people get up there and they start throwing the ring around and stabbing, because I know that they had that one opportunity, they didn't kick the door down, and that's why they weren't able to get one. And so that's where I struggle with it a bit, and I'm able to dish out the respect to the guys who hadn't necessarily won. I can still respect you for what you are.
Yeah, for sure.
But on the flip side, I think it also took me to go through it over and over again and learn and understand more and more about it and know what goes into it. And most people just don't know what goes into it.
Do you know your mother tweeted me before?
Really?
Yes. I can't remember what playoff series it was, but you were actually playing really well. And you missed a dunk, and I think like you got your shot blocked or something. And I just tweeted, I was like, honestly, those plays to me are the fascinating thing about Draymond Green. I was like, he is not the most athletic. I was like, but look at all the stuff he's done. And I think all she read was like the fact that I mentioned that you got a shot blocked or missed a dunk. And she was like, well, what about the ones that can do all that? I was like, ma'am. Because the one thing is, I was like, I am not finna beef. I was like, I need to be very clear. This was a compliment. I was like, I am not trying to beef. But I looked at that and I thought, no matter how famous, how successful, that's still her baby.
Absolutely.
Right? And it made me think about it when you were talking about the ring culture and how people use these things to criticize and to stab. You mentioned something that touched me earlier. I say a lot of stuff, right? And I get a lot of criticism, backlash, and I'm built for it.
Absolutely.
Right? Recently went through something where it affected my entire family. I got cousins defending me. I got people calling me. It was bad in my house. And it was the first time I looked at myself and I said, wait, when I speak or when I have my actions affect everyone else. You said it started to affect your home and the people around you. As somebody who's always been comfortable in being Draymond Green, how difficult was it to handle your actions affecting all of the people you love?
Man, yeah, my mom, she's I had to help her out with Twitter. She go crazy. And by the way, I am actually her baby. Like, I'm the youngest. So it's a different thing there. And my mama ride to Land's End for me, you know, and I love her and I appreciate her. It started affecting, my mom don't watch games anymore. She checked the box score. It brings her anxiety at this point in my career because she like, yo, just be done. Like, it's cool, you did it. It's you passed it, like, just be done, move on. And I'm like, no, man, I got more to give. So she can't watch no more. People attacking my wife because I got into it with somebody on the court. She got to cut her comments off. People telling her, I know you getting beat at home, all this stuff. And it's just like, and I saw the weight that it was putting on her. Like, I could see it, her carrying it. And she gonna ride, so she riding, but I am someone who in my life, like if I'm in your life, I take on your shit. I'm gonna be right there, I'm gonna help you through the shit. I take on a bunch of shit for a lot of people. My shoulder's big enough for that, I'm cut for that, that's who I am. Very rarely am I gonna let you take on my shit. I am the guy who take on the shit. I take on the shit for people. People around me, people close to me, I take on the shit. When I realized that, damn, I'm causing them shit and I ain't able to take it on because I caused it, it was crushing me. Because I don't put my shit on nobody. I take my shit on the chin. And I take your shit, and your shit on too. I'ma be there for you like that. So that was another reason I wanted to be done. Because now, you know, my kids going to school, my kids coming home like, Daddy, they said you did this, and I'm like, damn. And I worked my whole life so that these kids can have the best, so that they don't have to experience what I experienced. Like I go to work, I work my ass off so that I can provide something for them that was never provided for me. And I'm affecting them negatively. It's killing me because I am that guy, like, I'm the guy to make it better for you. I'm the guy to take on the shit like, man, you move over, I got the shit. Move out the way. All right, now it's done, go ahead. Like, I took on that shit for you. And so, going through that with them and knowing my actions caused it, it was crushing me. Because I can't, I almost need to save them from me now. And that's a totally different space than I've ever been in. I'll come save you from anybody.
How can I save you from myself?
Now I gotta save you from me. And I tried to run, like I'm done with it. Because that's the only thing I can think of how I can save it, how I can save them from me. So I'm like, oh, I need to be done or retire. Because I gotta be there to like get you through the shit. And if I'm causing the shit, how do I get you through it?
Now, that was my wife was attacked because of me and the way it affected my kids, the way it affected her. And honestly, the pressure it puts on you to fix it when you are the problem. And when it's you, and you know, we always say, I'll do anything for family. I'll die for my family. I'll kill for my family. What happens when you're the op? You know, and dealing with that, man.
It's a tough space to go through.
Bro, you could retire. Like you just said it. Your mama asked, I'm sure your wife asked, why don't retire? You've done everything. Why not retire? Bro, you got more to give. That ain't no real answer. That's a bullshit answer.
Why not retire? Because I still love to compete, and where else can I find that level of competition?
Go fishing.
But I can't.
Play golf.
I suck at that, so I don't do it because I can't compete at the level I want to compete at golf. Right, and in basketball, I can compete at the highest level, and that's what drives me. It's like I still love to compete I love walking in that arena, shutting you up, saying everything I gotta say to y'all crowd, and walking out in Houston like, ha, told y'all we was gonna beat y'all again. Y'all are that team, right? Like, I still get such a drive, like such a rush out of that. Like, I absolutely love the competition, and it's the only reason why I still do it.
And that's the only reason you need, and that's the first reason we did it in the first place. But from stealing a bag of chips at the age of 3, to lead, to leading Saginaw High to back-to-back state champs, 53-2, Big Ten Player of the Year, having your jersey retired by Michigan State, 4 championships later, 4-time NBA All-Star. Defensive Player of the Year, led the league in steals, to about to be a hell of a broadcaster at some point soon. Great husband, friend. In between all of that, what would you consider to be your biggest pivot in life? That's that one moment you can look back on and say, without this happening to me or for me, I wouldn't be who I am today.
I think in life we're always reinventing ourselves. That's actually why I love y'all show and the name, how y'all leaned into it. It's because I think in life you always reinvent yourself. And so there are multiple pivots. And I can point to several of them at different times in my life that if I didn't make that pivot, it could all ended there or blah, blah, blah. In high school, I got caught cheating on a test. I had an exam. I was a very good student. My mom ain't played no dumb. Like, you ain't gonna live in this house and be dumb. And I was just being lazy. Our teacher gave us this study guide, and the study guide had a lot of the same questions on the test. So I took the study guide into the exam, put it under my paper, and I just was fucking cheating. Like, I got to like the last 2 questions of the exam. I'm sure I would have I'm also not dumb, so I wouldn't have got 100%, but I think I got like 47 out of the 50 questions right. Like, I ain't gonna make it too obvious. Yeah. And I got to like 2 more questions left on the exam. And the teacher just came and took the papers. And I got a D- in the class because the way our grading system works, you got 3 marking periods and a final exam, and they're all 25%. So on 25% of the grade, I got 0.
Wow.
Yeah. So which means without the 25%, just basic math, I had like 64%. Mm-hmm. So if you add my other 25%, I'm at an A. Yeah. My mom, Michigan State was my dream school. Tom Izzo had an Izzo shootout at Michigan State, the team camp. And then we was playing AAU, going to big tournaments. I was on a great AAU team by this point. And she stopped me from playing that summer. I couldn't go to team camp. And people from my city was like coming to the door. Marshall Thomas, the Godfather, even talked to my mom. And she was like, that's cool, he ain't going. Y'all can send whoever y'all want over here, because if he end up dumb and failing, y'all gonna move on to the next kid, and he's just gonna be back in this house. So he ain't going. It taught me accountability. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you gotta put the work in. You gotta be accountable. And so when I go back to that moment in life, that was 9th grade. That's what got me to Michigan State. You know what I'm saying? It's that moment right there that got me to Michigan State, which is one of the best things that ever happened to me. Mm-hmm. So if I point to anything and I go, now, the reinvention of me, the man, there's different pivots. But that one is what got me out of Saginaw, Michigan, which laid the stage for everything else and everything I've become, is making it out of that city. I love that city, so don't get me wrong, like, but I couldn't stay there and be great, you know what I'm saying? And so that set the table for me to make it out of that city and ultimately allowed me to change my family life for generations. You know what I'm saying? Like, show us a life that we could have never imagined. it was that one moment that if I got to go to one, because that set the stage for everything else.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. I've been trying to get this done forever. You know that. I know how valuable your time is, Dre, man. So appreciate you, dog. And you have expectations, right? Because we're human. And I had an expectation that this show was going to be really amazing. You 100% exceeded that, bro.
Thank you.
Just very grateful for you, man. It's been amazing to watch you grow as a man. You accomplish things as a player, and I was on TV while I played as well. Man, you're better than that, bro. I can't wait to see what you do going forward. But unlike Channing, man, I believe you should keep playing for a little bit longer.
Hang that shit up, man. Go enjoy your baby.
I appreciate it, fellas. Appreciate it.